All right, hello everybody. This is Big Mike from the Drivin Lincolns, and my daughter's gonna make me laugh, so I'm gonna try to get through this in one take. Been getting some emails from a couple of fans out there, but more so from my guitar buddies all over the U.S. and even got some friends overseas that have been asking me about what pedals I use, how I have them together in the chain, what kind of amps do I use. So tonight I figured instead of answering a bunch of emails and text messages and Facebook messages, I would do a little video, and not so much about my guitars tonight, but I'm going to go through my back line here and also my pedal board, and then I'm going to do some demos of each thing. So anyway, first off over here I got my Fender Blues Deluxe Tweed. It is a reissue made in Mexico, 40 watt all tube, 2-channel. I only used a clean channel on it. The only change that I made to this amp, I got it second hand. It was all original when I bought it. The only change I made to it, if my daughter will pan over there real quick, is I took the stupid red Fender LED lamp and changed it out for a green. I do not like the red Fender LED lamps. So that is the only mod that I have done to this amp. Again, 40 watt all tube, made in Mexico. I don't know, the people who are complaining about the deluxe reissue amps say they sound like crap and they sound horrible. I have had no issues with this amp whatsoever. The day I bought it, it worked. Again, I bought it secondhand at a store that shall not be named. And I've had no issues with it. I've gigged with it a few times. I push it really hard at practice. Never failed. Never had any issues with the sound, the tone. The EQ works great. The reverb works great on it. I did have the reverb tank unhooked at one point. I recently hooked it back up. It sounds great. The other amp is directly behind me. I don't know if I'm going to have to move here. I have a Tyler Amps hand-built boutique out of New York, I believe. It is a Fender 5F1 clone, 6 watts of total tube ear ecstasy, if that's a word, maybe 2 words with a hyphen. It's a very simple amp. My buddy Ryan Roy pointed out he likes simple. You don't get much simpler than one knob, which turns the amp on and off and also turns the volume up or down. It's 2 input. It is a 6 watt open back 112 combo. You really can't tell in the light in here, but it's got the really cool 2-tone black and burgundy cowboy Tolex on it. It is loaded with a Jensen. It was loaded with a Jensen. I have since changed that out to a WGS smooth cone 12-inch 65 watt, I think I said 8 ohm speaker. And if you move to my right, your left, that is the Beast. It is a vintage PV Windsor, 100 watt, 120 watt, depending on who you ask. I don't like to lie, so I call it a 100 watt. So if I get caught lying, if it is a 120, it doesn't sound like I tried to stretch the truth. 2-channel amp. I use 1 channel on it. It is no reverb. It's a very good head. It's a very loud head. It's not harsh like a lot of PV heads are. And like I say, I use that strictly for if we play a large venue like a ballroom or a gymnasium, or an outside gig on a patio, or wherever. If I'm at the river, I'll pull that out, and I run that through the custom 212 cabinet on the floor. It is loaded with a magical speaker combination, which I will not reveal at this time. Again, very loud, a lot of low-end response. It is a closed-back 212 cabinet with a basket weave kind of tweed grill cloth on it, white piping. It is I don't want to call it brown, and I don't want to call it burgundy. It's more of a chocolate Tolex covering. And if you will, my daughter will take the camera down to the floor. there where you will see my pedal board. Not a lot going on. On the far right, the input, I have a Polytune 2 tuner. Pretty self-explanatory on that. I like the Polytunes because I can hit all 6 strings at one time, and it will tell me which ones are sharp, which ones are flat, and which ones are in tune. Or I can do the old school way, 1 string at a time. The second pedal in my chain is a Love pedal Super Lead 100 with a mid boost mod. I pretty much run that thing level 12 o'clock, drive 12 o'clock, tone 12 o'clock. I leave the mid boost on all the time, no matter what guitar I'm playing, whether I'm playing a Les Paul with humbuckers, an SG with humbuckers, an SG with P90s, a Telecaster with single coils, a Strat, G&L, whatever. I leave the mid boost on. I really like that squawk that I get. The big yellow beast in the middle of my pedal board is a Seymour Duncan Tweak Fuzz. That is absolutely, hands down, in my opinion, the best fuzz pedal. It has a volume, tweak, and gain knob. I leave the gain all the way up, obviously. The volume is probably around 3 o'clock, so that would be around 7 if you went 1 to 10. The tweak knob in the middle, it has 6 slots. Each slot, as you go clockwise, adds a little more bass frequency to the fuzz. I use fuzz solely on a neck pickup, so I want as much bass as I can get. That's what gives it the creamy kind of sound, that Hendrixy, really creamy fuzz. So that's how I run it. I leave it on slot 6 on the tweak, about 7 on the volume, and 11 on the gain if it's available. The next pedal over is an MXR carbon copy analog delay. I don't use a lot of delay, or I should say I don't play a lot of songs where I need delay, but there are a couple that just really adds to what I'm trying to do on guitar. The last pedal in the chain tonight is the Hall of Fame, the mini, the Hall of Fame mini reverb. That thing's super cool. You can actually download an app to your smartphone and turn your guitar up, and this thing has all different types of preset reverbs. But what's cool about it is the preset is not set in the pedal. The preset is in the app on your smartphone, so you can download the app, pick what type of reverb you want, hit send, and put the phone speaker up next to one of the pickups on your guitar, and it sounds like the old-timey fax machine, and it will fax, quote unquote, the reverb type you want to the pedal, and then that's what's in the pedal until you refax a different tone. So basically, you buy the pedal, you find a reverb you like, you fax it one time, you're done. You don't have to do it every time you turn the pedal on or off. It'll store whatever the last download was. It doesn't store multiple downloads, it stores one. The bigger, its big brother, the full-size Hall of Fame, I believe there is an option in there to store multiple reverbs, but I'm not too sure. I didn't have enough room on my board to go for the big one. I kind of like the little one. The only pedal that I would use normally that I don't have on my board tonight is it's basically a live wire ABY switcher, which allows me to switch between my Blues Deluxe and my Tyler amp without having to get up, switch cables, take away from the vibe of the show, and make people wait another 15 seconds before the next song. If I'm playing a big gig, I don't ABY, I use 1 amp, that's it. If I'm playing a smaller gig or a medium-sized gig, I'll bring 2 amps, one for my clean, one for my dirty, and then when I go into a lead, sometimes I'll run the dirty and the clean amp at the same time to give it. In a 3-piece band, the guitar players kind of, when the guitar player drops out to do a lead, obviously, if you're not Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix or somebody like Danny Gatton or Roy Buchanan, the bottom kind of falls out of the sound because the rhythm guitar goes away. I am not a Danny Gatton or a Jimi Hendrix, so I will use a clean amp and a dirty amp to get a fatter sound, and sometimes on the slower stuff I will use my delay pedal to kind of fill in the gaps between my lead. So, all right, that was the intro of what I'm trying to do with this video. So I'll get my daughter to turn the camera off in 3, 2, 1.